The Slight Edge, Turning Simple Disciplines into Massive Success and Happiness by Jeff Olson. Let me tell you about two old friends of mine. These guys grew up in the same dusty New Mexico town, sat in the same classrooms, and even shared a cramped dorm room in college. They were basically twins in different bodies, equally charming, equally hungry for life, both with that glint in their eyes that said they were up to something. If you put them side by side, you'd swear they were heading down the same road. But their lives took wildly different turns. The first friend, well, he crashed and burned, dropped out of college and wound up in Daytona Beach living the ultimate beach bum fantasy. He spent his days pumping iron, chasing pretty girls, and letting his hair grow wild. His big career move? Cutting grass on a golf course, just barely scraping by, sweating buckets while watching wealthy golfers glide past in their carts. The frustration ate at him. Eventually, he tried launching a business, watched it collapse, and lost everything. The other friend, though, his life looked like something out of a movie. Graduated top of his class, built an incredible career at a massive tech company, then launched one successful venture after another. Today, he's living the dream in every possible way. Beautiful family, friends scattered across the globe, and a deep happiness that seems to radiate from him. The weird part? He and his beach bum buddy are still incredibly close. In fact, they're inseparable. You're probably wondering what the millionaire figured out that the beach bum missed. What secret formula separated their destinies? But here's the thing. That's not actually the question we should be asking. The real question is, how could they possibly be the same person? Because they are, both of them. They're both me. I'm Jeff Olson, and I've lived both of those lives. I've been the college dropout pushing a lawnmower, convinced the world was rigged against me. And I've been the millionaire, living beyond anything I could have imagined. There was no dramatic lightning strike moment on a mountaintop. Deep down, I'm still the same guy the first was back then. What changed wasn't my core self. It was simply what I chose to do each day. Through years of trial and error, through failure and eventual success, I discovered something remarkable. There's a simple, almost invisible principle that determines whether you succeed or fail. It's operating in your life right this second, either pushing you forward or pulling you backward. I call it the slight edge. By the end of our time together, you won't just understand this principle, you'll hold the key to making it work for you, starting today. You'll see how the smallest, most ordinary choices, the ones that seem completely meaningless, are actually carving the path to everything you'll become. We've all been on this ride, haven't we? You launch into a new diet or workout routine, and for those first couple of weeks you're absolutely crushing it. You feel amazing. You're seeing progress. And then, something slips. You miss a day. Then another. Before you can blink, you're back where you started, feeling worse than ever. Or maybe it's your career. You grind incredibly hard, snag that promotion, things are finally looking up. And then you get comfortable. You ease off the gas pedal, just a touch, and almost without realizing it, you're sliding backward. This cycle traps 95% of people. It's a constant wave between failure and just getting by, occasionally touching success, but never staying there. We spend our lives bouncing back and forth, wondering why we can't break through. So what's going on? It's not about willpower. It's not about wanting it badly enough. Jeff Olson figured out the answer on what he calls his day of disgust. Standing on that golf course, watching successful people cruise by, something clicked for him. The exact same simple actions that lift us from failure to survival are the identical actions that will carry us from survival straight through to success. The problem? The moment we feel safe, the second we escape the danger zone, we stop doing them. Think about it. When you're about to fail a class, you study like crazy. You do every assignment. You show up early. Those simple disciplines get you to a passing grade, to survival. But what if you just kept going? What if you maintained those small, daily habits? You wouldn't just survive. You'd dominate. You'd be at the top of the class. You already know everything you need to become massively successful. The things that have kept you alive up until now are the exact same things that can launch you into greatness. The secret isn't learning some complicated new technique. The secret is refusing to stop doing the simple things that got you here. That's the heart of the slight edge philosophy. Simple, productive actions, repeated consistently over time. This idea is almost deceptively simple. To really understand its power, let me share a fable from the book about a wealthy father, his two sons, and a choice that would define their entire lives. As the father lay dying, he called his sons to his bedside. "I want to give you both a gift," he said, "a choice." In one hand, he held a thick stack of crisp bills, $1 million in cash. In his other hand, a single shiny copper penny. "You could have the $1 million right now," he told them, "or you can have this penny. If you choose the penny, my butler will double its value every day for 1 month, for 31 days. So what would you choose? A cool million today, ready to spend, or a single penny?" The first son didn't hesitate for a second. $1 million. He was already planning his empire, thinking about investments. He grabbed the cash, assembled a crack team of financial advisors, and set out to build his fortune. He was playing the game exactly how the world tells you to play it. Go big, move fast, make noise. The second son chose the penny. His brother thought he'd lost his mind. "You poor fool," he laughed. "A penny? What can you possibly do with that?" And honestly, for a while it seemed like he was right. Day 1, the second son had 1 cent. Day 2, 2 cents. By day 5, he'd accumulated a whopping 16 cents. At the end of week 1, he had 64 cents. Meanwhile, his brother was living in a luxury suite, commanding a team of experts, and making power moves in the financial world. By day 10, the penny had grown to just over $5, barely enough for a decent sandwich. But this is where the magic of the slight edge starts to stir, almost invisibly. The second son had received a small book of stories from his father. One story was about a tiny water hyacinth floating on a vast pond. It was so small, nobody even noticed it. But every single day, it doubled in size. For weeks, it remained just a tiny speck on the water. On day 20, it was still just a small patch. On day 29, half the pond was still wide open water. But on day 30, just 24 hours later, the entire pond was blanketed in gorgeous flowers. Another story featured 2 frogs who tumbled into a pail of cream. They couldn't climb out. One frog gave up immediately. "It's hopeless," he said, and he sank. The other frog just kept paddling. He didn't know why. He just kept making the same small motion, over and over and over. He paddled for hours, feeling completely hopeless. But then, he felt something solid beneath his feet. All that relentless paddling had churned the cream into a lump of butter. He simply hopped out and went home. The second son got it. He didn't need some dramatic event. He just needed to trust the process. Let's jump back to his pile of pennies. By day 20, 2/3 through the month, his penny had grown to over $5,000. Nice, but nothing compared to his brother's million. But now the curve was starting to bend upward. Meanwhile, the first son got terrible news. The markets had crashed. His investments had tanked. After paying his expert team, his hotel bills, and his taxes, his $1 million windfall had transformed into a $250,000 debt. He was completely ruined. And the second son? On day 28, his penny purse crossed the $1 million mark. On day 29, it hit $2 million. On day 30, it sailed past $5 million. And on the morning of day 31, when the butler handed him his purse, it contained $10,737,418.24. One son started with $1 million and ended with nothing. The other started with a penny and ended with a fortune. This isn't just a cute fable. This is literally the story of your life. It's a choice you're making every single day. The world constantly offers you the $1 million, the quick fix, the lottery ticket, the crash diet, the quantum leap. It's flashy, exciting, and incredibly tempting. The slight edge offers you the penny, the small, seemingly meaningless choice that, when compounded over time, leads to mastery and wealth in every area of your life. Reading 10 pages of a good book every day. Doing a few minutes of exercise. Tucking away a few dollars from every paycheck. Telling someone you love them. Each of these is a penny. By itself, it's nothing. A single workout won't transform your body. Reading 10 pages won't make you brilliant. Saving $5 won't make you wealthy. Not today, anyway. This is the first reason 95% of people never harness the slight edge. The actions are so simple, they feel insignificant. What's the harm in one burger? What difference does one skipped workout make? In the moment, the answer is not much. The results are completely invisible. The second reason is equally powerful. Because these actions are so easy to do, they're also ridiculously easy not to do. It's easy to read 10 pages, but it's just as easy to say, "I'm exhausted tonight," and zone out in front of Netflix instead. It's easy to go for a walk, but it's equally easy to hit snooze and roll over. Nobody's going to applaud you for reading those 10 pages. There's no instant reward, there's no drama, and that's the trap. Our culture worships the quantum leap, the overnight success, the big break. Movies and media have trained us to expect dramatic, immediate results. We want to plant the seed and harvest the crop in the same afternoon. But life doesn't work that way. There's a natural progression. You plant, you cultivate, and then you harvest. The slight edge is that long, quiet, patient, and honestly, often boring process of cultivating. It's the frog paddling in the cream when nothing seems to be happening. It's the water hyacinth doubling when it's still too small to notice. It's the second son watching his pennies grow to 64 cents while his brother plays with millions. This brings us to one of your most powerful allies on this journey, time. Most people treat time like the enemy. They're always in a rush. They want results yesterday. But successful people understand that time is their greatest friend. Time is the force that magnifies your small daily choices. Think about the Grand Canyon. It wasn't carved by some massive catastrophic flood. It was shaped by a modest river, flowing consistently, day after day, for millions of years. That's the power of time combined with small, relentless action. The equation is beautifully simple. Consistently repeated daily actions plus time equals unconquerable results. You supply the actions. The universe supplies the time. Your only job is choosing the right actions, the simple disciplines that serve you, instead of the simple mistakes that work against you. Every single choice you make places you on one of two paths, the success curve or the failure curve. These paths start out almost identical. They look nearly the same for a long time. The person who chooses a salad instead of fries today doesn't look any different tomorrow from the person who grabbed the fries. The person who saves $10 doesn't feel richer than the person who spent it. For weeks, months, even years, the difference is practically invisible. This is what makes the slight edge so deceptive. It's why so many people quit. They don't see immediate results, so they assume their efforts don't matter. But over time, those two paths begin curving away from each other. Slowly at first, then with stunning speed. The success curve shoots skyward, while the failure curve plummets. And what determines which curve you're riding? It's not luck. It's not your circumstances. It comes down to one of two mindsets: responsibility or blame. People on the failure curve live in a world of blame. It's the economy, it's their boss, it's their parents, the government, the weather, their terrible luck. By blaming others, they surrender their power. They become victims of life, constantly staring at the past, drowning in regret and resentment. People on the success curve, the 5%, live in a world of responsibility. They understand that, regardless of what's happened, they're the architects of what comes next. They own their choices, their actions, their results. They don't camp out in the past. They use it as a learning tool, but their eyes are always on the future. The future pulls them forward. As Jeff says, the past does not equal the future. At any moment, you can choose to step onto the success curve. It starts with a single simple choice. But how do you stay on that path, especially when it feels uncomfortable or when the 95% around you are trying to drag you back down? This is where you need to cultivate slight-edge habits. A habit is something that runs on autopilot, and 99.9% of your life is running on autopilot, controlled by your subconscious. Your success or failure is determined by what you've programmed into that autopilot. Jeff outlines 7 crucial habits you need to build. Habit 1. Show up. This is the foundation. 80% of success, as Woody Allen said, is just showing up. Be the frog that actually jumps off the lily pad. Don't just think about it. Do it. Habit 2. Be consistent. Showing up once isn't enough. You have to show up day after day, especially when you really don't feel like it. This is how you build momentum. A body in motion tends to stay in motion. Steady wins the race. Habit 3. Have a positive outlook. This isn't about pretending everything's perfect or plastering on a fake smile. It's about training your brain to spot opportunities where others see obstacles, to look for the good in people and situations. And when the inevitable funk hits you, as it hits everyone, you acknowledge it, learn from it, and take baby steps back into positivity. Habit 4. Be committed for the long haul. Success isn't a 90-day sprint. It's a lifelong marathon. Malcolm Gladwell talks about the 10,000-hour rule. Mastery in any field takes roughly 10,000 hours of practice. Are you willing to invest that time? Farmers know they have to wait an entire season to harvest. You need that same patience. Habit 5. Cultivate a burning desire backed by faith. You have to want it, really want it. But desire alone won't cut it. You must back it with unshakable faith, not hope, not wishing, but deep knowing that your small, daily actions are leading you toward your goal. This is the alignment between your dream and your belief in the process. Habit 6. Be willing to pay the price. Every dream has a price tag. It's usually not some huge, dramatic sacrifice. It's a small, daily one. Maybe giving up an hour of TV to read. Maybe passing on dessert. Maybe letting go of a friendship that's dragging you down. The price of discipline is always less than the price of regret. And finally, Habit 7. Practice slight-edge integrity. This is the most important of all. Integrity is what you do when nobody's watching. It's 11 at night, you're exhausted, and you still haven't read your 10 pages. Nobody will know if you skip it. Except you. That moment, that tiny choice, is where your character gets forged. It's where you discover who you really are. Living the slight edge isn't just about building better habits. It's about building a better you. And you don't have to do it alone. One of the most powerful accelerators on this journey is mentorship. Jeff tells a moving story about a man named Clyde Scher, the director of the Albuquerque airport, where he worked as a young intern. Clyde took an interest in him, bought him coffee, and simply believed in him. Jeff says, "It was as if he believed me into existence." Because Clyde saw potential in him, he started seeing it in himself. You need to be incredibly conscious about who you spend time with. There's a saying that your income, your health, and your attitude will be the average of the 5 people you hang out with most. Are the people around you lifting you toward the success curve or dragging you toward the failure curve? Are their conversations filled with blame and gossip about the past, or responsibility and dreams for the future? Sometimes you have to literally run in the other direction from the dimmers, those people who suck the energy out of any room. This doesn't mean cutting family out of your life, but it does mean managing your time wisely. Some people are worth 2 minutes, but not 2 hours. Some are worth 2 hours, but not 2 days. You have to protect your positive environment. And there's one more piece to this puzzle, a secret ingredient that makes the entire slight-edge engine run more smoothly. It's happiness. For decades, we've been sold a lie. We've been told, once you become successful, then you'll be happy. But the science of positive psychology has proven this completely backward. It's actually the opposite. Happiness isn't the result of success. Happiness is the key to success. Research shows that happier people are more creative, more productive, better problem solvers, have stronger immune systems, and live longer. Happiness comes before success. As Jeff says, be happy, and the reason will appear. So how do you become happier? It's not by winning the lottery or buying a mansion. Just like everything else, it's through simple, daily habits, happy habits. Here are 5 from the book, based on researcher Sean Acor's work. 1. Every morning, write down 3 new things you're grateful for. This trains your brain to scan for positives. 2. Journal for 2 minutes about one positive experience from the last 24 hours. This lets your brain relive it, doubling the benefit. 3. Meditate for a few minutes each day. This sharpens your focus. 4. Perform a random act of kindness, like sending a 2-minute email praising or thanking someone. 5. Exercise for 15 minutes. This has a powerful antidepressant effect. These are just more examples of the penny. Small, easy to do, and easy not to do. But when you combine the slight edge philosophy with these happy habits, you create an unstoppable force in your life. And that success doesn't stop with you. It creates ripples. Your life, whether you realize it or not, is constantly touching other lives. When you choose the slight edge, when you improve your health, your finances, your happiness, you become a better parent, friend, colleague. You create positive ripples spreading out from you in ways you may never even see. A smile to a stranger, a word of encouragement to a kid, a commitment to your own growth. These small acts can shift the trajectory of someone else's day, maybe even their life. The greatest legacy you can leave isn't in the money you accumulate, but in the positive ripples you create. So where do you go from here? The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and the path to your dreams begins with 3. First, write it down. A dream is just a wish until you write it down. Make it specific. Give it a deadline. A goal is a dream with a deadline. The moment you put it on paper, it starts becoming real. Second, look at it every day. You have to constantly remind your brain where you're headed. Surround yourself with your own yeses to counteract the thousands of no's you've heard throughout your life. Feed your goals to your subconscious, and it'll start noticing the people and opportunities that can help you get there. And third, start with a plan. Here's the secret. The plan you start with won't be the plan that gets you there. Its purpose isn't to be perfect. Its purpose is to get you moving, to get you to jump off the lily pad. Your first plan leads to your second plan, which leads to your third. The journey is constant course correction, just like an Apollo rocket that was off course 97% of the time on its way to the moon, yet still arrived. So find your penny. Find that one simple, daily discipline in each area of your life, that one small step you can commit to. And then, begin. When you really strip it down, the slight edge isn't about some new tactic or clever life hack. It's a fundamental shift in how you see the world. It's understanding that greatness doesn't come from giant leaps, but from the quiet accumulation of tiny, positive choices. What I find so powerful about this book is how it releases you from the pressure of needing some massive transformation. We live in a world screaming at us to be extraordinary, to make a huge splash, to become an overnight sensation. And when we can't pull that off, we feel like failures. This book whispers a more patient, more compassionate, and ultimately more powerful truth. You don't have to be extraordinary overnight. You just have to be consistent today. The penny story is more than a finance lesson. It's a metaphor for your entire life. Every area, your health, your relationships, your knowledge, follows the law of compounding. The small, wise choices you make today are investments paying unimaginable dividends in the future. The small, poor choices are debts compounding into a burden too heavy to carry. The message is deeply empowering because it puts the controls squarely in your hands. It tells you that no matter where you are right now, regardless of what your past looks like, you can change your future. You can't change yesterday, but you can always change tomorrow, starting with your very next choice. So what can you do right now to put the slight edge to work? Let's keep it simple. Let's find one penny. 1. Read just one page of a good book tonight. Not 10, just one. If you feel like reading more, great, but commit to just one. It's easy to do and almost impossible to say no to. 2. Drink one extra glass of water today. That's it. A simple, positive choice for your health. 3. Take 60 seconds before you fall asleep to think of one thing you're grateful for from your day. Just one. Let that be your last thought before drifting off. These aren't giant leaps. They're pennies. They seem insignificant. They won't produce any visible result tomorrow. But they're the start of a new path. They're the first threads in the steel cable of a new habit, a new character, and a new destiny. That was a summary of The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. We've touched on the core ideas today, but I'll be honest with you. A summary is like looking at a picture of the Grand Canyon. The real magic happens when you stand at the edge yourself. The book is packed with stories, nuances, and a spirit that can't be fully captured in a summary. It's meant to be read, then reread. If anything we've talked about today has resonated with you, I encourage you to grab a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning a new concept. It's an experience that can fundamentally change how you look at your daily life. The link to the book is in the description below. Also, if you found this valuable and want to keep exploring the ideas shaping the most successful people in the world, please take a moment to subscribe and maybe share this with someone who needs to hear it. Let's keep growing together.